Hey, shalom, shalom. Call halayim la, Yahweh, Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Racha Kodash. Wa Mashiach Kabadim Zakwanyu now, Wa Malakim Shaw, Yasha Allah Hazakwanyu Racha Gadawal, Wa Chasai, Wa Shalom, Wa Barakim La Bachaya Shaw, Hagawaya Yasha Allah Shalom. Alright, so all praise to the Most High Yahweh, which means he exists. Bahashem in the name, Yahweh Shah, he delivers. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Israel, the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and mercy, peace, and blessings to the elect of the nation of Israel. Shalom. Peace. All right, so just going into an article on RT. All right, it says Beijing keeps Taiwan drills running. All right, so they've been doing drills, in the area of Taiwan, so they're doing a show of force. They're not just going to keep showing force. It's going to escalate. It says the continuing military drills include amphibious assault training. So they just basically been doing things with, on water and land, assault training. It says that the Chinese military said its drills around Taiwan will continue on Monday despite initial plans announced last week that they would last until mid-Sunday. They were launched in response to a visit to the islands by U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. The training on Monday will take place in the sea and airspace near the self-governed island and will focus on anti-submarine and amphibious assault operations. A statement released by China's Eastern Theater Command said Monday's prolongation of the exercise near Taiwan and the second announced by the People's Liberation Army in as many days. The initial plan was to wrap up the training around noon on Sunday. China launched a series of maneuvers around the island after Pelosi visited it in spite of Beijing's objections. The Chinese government perceived the trip as a challenge to its claim of sovereignty over Taiwan. So they taking it as a act of war. It says the island was the last stronghold of U.S.-backed nationalist forces, which lost the Chinese Civil War of the 1940s. Washington formally switched its diplomatic recognition from Taipei to Beijing during the 1970s. Rapprochement with China. Nevertheless, the U.S. has maintained informal relations with Taiwan. It says Pelosi claimed her trip to the island, the first by a U.S. official of her rank in 25 years, was meant to support democracy against authoritarian regimes. Beijing claimed it encouraged secessionism and imposed a number of sanctions on Pelosi and Taiwan in addition to launching military exercises. You see, so she was sent by the U.S. because they basically aid in Taiwan, So, again, China took that as, them stepping on their toes because Taiwan used to be a part of China. But let's get some precepts. This is Matthew 24:7. All right, it says, it's a lot. Matthew 24:7, it says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." All right, which we're seeing that. We're seeing different nations going up against each other, speaking war talk, so to speak, showing force, demonstrations, drills in each other's backyard, We seeing all of that. We're seeing the nations pick sides, with the BRICS, with like NATO, stuff like that. They forming the sides, the nations are being gathered up, for that battle. All right. But nevertheless, just getting into this, we're saying nation rise against nation. So it says, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines, which we're seeing famines. All right. Let me get a quick precept. This is Revelation chapter 6 and verse 6. It says, "And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine." All right. And that wheat for a penny represents a famine because it's going to be a certain amount of food divvied out for a penny, which is a day's worth of wages, you see. And just going into the famine, they've been doing something called shrinkflation, you know. So what people was getting before for a certain amount of money is getting them less now. All right. But just the point of this verse, the food is being rationed out. All right. It says, so let me go back to it. Matthew chapter 24, verse 7. It says, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences, which we're seeing different pestilences. All right. We're seeing, the C9, we're seeing the Donkey Kong, and many more. And, even the P is out now, And it's even to the point now where, they considering doing another lockdown. All right. So it says, and earthquakes in diverse places. All right. Let me keep going. It says, all these are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. All right, you see, because everything is happening because of the word. The word is going out. All right, let me get another quick one. The word is going out, and people that's not in the truth, they feel a way about it. Chiefly Esau, Edom. And that's because this word is destroying. Is bringing down his kingdom. This word is destroying them. And that's why they're gonna have to come with this. With that. Hold on, let me go back to it. Matthew chapter 24. That's why they're gonna come with that. They're gonna be incentivizing people to betray the prophets. That's why verse 9 and 10 going into that. Because this word is a burden to Esau's kingdom. All right, but let's go back to Jeremiah chapter 5 and verse 14. So it says, wherefore thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Shah power of hosts, because ye speak this word, behold, I will make my words in thy mouth fire, and this people wood, and it shall devour them. You see, that's what's happening. That's why, again, Esau is going to be incentivizing people to betray the prophets. All right. And that was pretty much it. We in the time of, nations rising up against each other. But I brought this out. It was edifying. Call her Layim La, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh, Shah, Bahashim, Rakakdah, Shalom.